So let's get into it. I am today on this, hypothetically, this is a hypothetical segment, right? So just having some fun with this on episode 1. Maybe you guys will hate this and we'll never do anything hypothetical again. But I am firing Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. I'm replacing them with Cole Thompson and Tom Hannafin, though. So, and you're going to represent the conference. So you guys all just got pay increases.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great. I'm retiring.
Yeah, I resigned today, actually.
Yeah, this is your last show. But you are now the conference commissioner for your conference, Cole in the SEC, Tom in the Big Ten. And we are doing, in February, a realignment draft right now. And we're going to get both conferences up to 24 teams. So, Cole, you'll have 2 more picks. They are going to be at the end of the draft. I thought that it made sense for the SEC to get their extra 2 picks last, because the Big Ten had to take on maybe a couple of partners that they didn't really care about taking on. So that's how we're doing it. I'm the commissioner and I'm kind of detailing it out. 2 caveats. UNC comes with North Carolina State. Okay. So if you take them, the other person, because of the legal stuff, we expect that to be what happens when it all goes down. I'm not putting a year on this. It's just everybody's free right now. UNC comes with NC State, so if you take them, you lose your next pick, and the other person gets 2 picks, and then we'll snake it back and forth from there. And then Notre Dame's off limits, so you can't take them. I don't think they're realistic to go anywhere soon, so you can't take them with your first pick. Since the Big Ten has more teams and runs things right now with the last 2 national championships, we'll let the SEC go first.
Cool. Let's go ahead and lock them on up. I think that Florida State's a team that wants to come to the SEC. I think they're a team that people believe is going to be one of the first that's going to come on in. I look at what Florida State brings in terms of revenue, and I also look at it from beyond college football. College basketball is always at a peak. When you bring in Florida State baseball, that's going to do wonders alongside with teams like Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn. We already run the SEC. We already run the college baseball realm. Why not we just go ahead and lock in Florida State? We're going to put pressure on a guy like Mike Norvell to have to deliver, because if you are the Seminoles, you should be meeting expectations. You should be a part of the standard that goes to a 12-team college playoff on the regular and be ranked in the top 25 in the recruiting and transfer portal rankings. So Florida State, welcome on into the SEC. Here is your participation trophy. You only get 1 year to kind of finalize the ship, or we're going to have to make you start turning the corner and be a little bit better.
I don't feel like the fat kid in dodgeball being picked last, because being picked first overall makes me. We can actually just end the show right there.
Yeah, I say right. There you go. You're joining the better conference anyways, so it's all good.
Tom,
I think the Big Ten made it very clear with its last realignment that they're going for television markets. Geography almost doesn't matter anymore. I think my pick as the new Big Ten commissioner would be the Miami Hurricanes. I think it makes a lot of sense to go after that TV market. That brand makes a lot of sense, and you kind of invite more rivalries from within the SEC now. If this is the world we're living in, where Florida State, Florida are there, well, gosh, now you can get these games as something that's non-conference between the 2 conferences. So everybody flourishes, and that's what I'm really all about as the new commissioner of the Big Ten. So I just want everybody to eat. But I think Miami makes a lot of sense there now. Is that like long-term with Mario Cristobal? No, but there's a ton of money there, so I think that's really going to help. But like, yeah, you're looking at TV markets now if you're within the Big Ten. The SEC's gift for so long has been the ability to galvanize whole states. So you're starting to get in the weeds a little bit if if the Big Ten was like, well, Kansas geographically makes sense. It's like, yeah, but Miami and a lot of other brands are far sexier. So I'm going with the Hurricanes.
Back to Cole.
Well, Tom's talking about TV markets. I'm talking about the biggest state in the nation. And I'm talking about a team that currently has just proven that it can win in the ACC. SMU comes from money. SMU is dominant when it comes to what it can afford in terms of revenue. And the big reason why they wanted to join the ACC was to get into a Power 4 conference. So we already own Austin. We already own the Houston area because College Station is 90 minutes away. Why don't we throw in the Dallas area, which is the 5th largest television market out there, bring in SMU that proved its worth last season with an 11-win season. Rhett Lashley has been rumored to go to the SEC to a program like Arkansas. Well, now you just join the SEC and you get a significant pay raise by joining with SMU. We're going to build a brand new stadium out in University Park. Gerald Ford, thanks for the efforts, but we're going to build an actual 100,000 place stadium. And we also now get to add in more to the state of Texas. Texas has been known for having some of the best recruits in college football, and now we get to retain those recruits in the state of Texas. So SMU, from a revenue standpoint, from what we talk about when it comes to a television market standpoint, you throw in them and FSU, we already are owning the southeastern region, and we're staying geographically sound because we already have Texas and Oklahoma.
I like the SMU pick. Sneaky good pick there because people would think like Clemson, North Carolina, other brands. SMU's a surprise there, but I like it.
See, Tom would have picked them, and that's why I want to make sure that he couldn't get them.
Some strategy in this game. Back to the Big Ten.
Well, I mean, since we're speaking about the Dallas market, the Big Ten selects TCU. I'm very proud to have the Horned Frogs. Listen, if there's going to be competition within one of the largest TV markets, the Big Ten is not going to just roll over and allow that to occur. It's got to be something where the Big Ten goes and gets a foothold in Texas. I think it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense geographically, as I just mentioned, but TCU getting there, I think I actually like that brand a little bit better than SMU. I understand there's a ridiculous amount of money at SMU, and as a Penn Stater, we saw all the private jets that attempted to fly into University Park for the college football playoff. But I think TCU has had a better track record of winning over the last 10 years, and you're in that hotbed. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Big Ten to be able to split Dallas with the SEC. I think that's smart.
Cole.
Fine. Come on, Clemson. You can join the party, I guess. Come on. We already know that you want to be a part of us. You're joining forces with FSU. You basically want to hire the guy from Suits to get you out of your contract. So we're just going to welcome you on in. You'll be welcomed here with open arms. Dabo Swinney may not, but still we'll find you the right coach. We'll bring you in a better formation. A guy that's going to believe in the transfer portal and put an emphasis on recruiting. Listen, if you land a guy like Kate Klubnik and you're able to put up 30 points and be the only team that did so against Texas's defense, you belong in the conversation for at least being a part of a conference that just means more. You mean more to us, so welcome on into the SEC, Clemson.
Back to Tom.
Colorado. Taking the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders because I believe he's probably got more eyeballs than most of the teams that we just mentioned combined. So I don't know how long you're going to have Deion for, but at least in the short term, Colorado seems like an interesting pick, and you can compete at that respect up against a blue blood like Clemson because you're kind of getting thin on that front. But I'm going to go with Colorado and the Buffaloes, provided you can convince Deion to stick around a little bit longer.
Cole?
I have two teams that I'm trying to decide between. I feel like that Tom may take one of them, so I'm going to take the first one that he is probably leaning towards. And I might be completely wrong in this, but there's something about a tradition of having a former Frank Beamer team in the SEC. Give me Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech comes with a ton of tradition. I think it comes with a ton of culture. And then keep in mind, the SEC doesn't have a footnote currently in the state of Virginia. So you bring in now Blacksburg, you bring in Lane Stadium, you bring in the tradition of Sandstorm, which for my money is the best tradition in college football. On top of that, you're going to be able to, I think, have that value of what is a former Big East team, but still be able to retain that type of SEC lore culture. I think that it does wonders when it comes to also basketball. So I think Virginia Tech's a pretty good spot. I want to own the state of Virginia. I want to have a foreground. Go ahead and give me the Hokies. I'm not a fan of turkeys, but you know what? If we got to take you on in, sure. We'll just call you.
What's wrong with dark meat? You don't like dark meat turkey?
No, it's all about the white meat down there. You know what the SEC is. Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tom, you got 3 teams left. You're up to 21.
Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati geographically makes a lot of sense, and you put a stranglehold on the state of Ohio, which is a great recruiting bed, and you get one of the bigger cities in the process. You get a brand that has done consistently pretty well, obviously made a deep run into the college football playoff not too long ago. You can put more resources into that, and I think Cincinnati gives you some options, I think, within the state, within the region that are really, really exciting. If you turn that into a powerhouse of Ohio State and Cincinnati, that's a really nice combination there. So you're kind of getting down to it where it's like, all right, where are we really going to grab eyeballs? Where are we going to grab recruits and dollars? I think Cincinnati, especially the point you just made, Cole, about basketball, having that foothold in the state of the city of Cincinnati, which is a really, really important hotbed for college basketball, whether that's Xavier or Cincinnati. Give me the Bearcats.
Cole has 4 teams left. Georgia Tech, UNC, NC State, Virginia, all on the board. Obviously, all our Big 12 teams, too, minus ECU, Cincinnati, are available as well. Cole, what you got?
Yeah, sorry. I got to take Atlanta. I got to go ahead and lock up that market. Give me Georgia Tech. Listen, the Yellow Jackets are starting to improve underneath Brent Key. I think the bigger thing is that there's already the rivalry established when it comes to Georgia. Plus, if you have ever heard the fight song for Alabama, they say, send the Yellow Jackets to a watery grave. Because at one point, Georgia Tech was part of the SEC. So you bring them back on in, give me the value of the state of Georgia all throughout the southeastern region. I'm going to block up that television market in Atlanta. So I already own Dallas. I already own Atlanta. I already own parts of Florida.
Dallas. You're splitting it with
I
us.
already own half of Dallas. You know what? So I'm in a pretty good spot. I'm not going to let you take Atlanta too. I'm taking the Yellow Jackets.
You got 2 picks left, Tom. Give me one of them.
2 picks left. Dang. Yeah, the television markets are kind of disintegrating a little bit because it's like you would love it if Northwestern did something significant in Chicago, but you just don't feel like that strongly about that situation. Man. I think this is where you kind of have to start leaning into like, all right, which brands have the best notoriety and are going to be able to produce? I'm going to go grab Oklahoma State out of the Big 12. Oklahoma State having a really good track record, basically being the standard that is left within the Big 12. I mean, not that great of a season this past year, but still one of the biggest brands remaining out there. Oklahoma State continues to give you a foothold there in the Midwest. I don't love it, but at this point, beggars can't be choosers. So let's go with the Pokes.
we're reluctantly taking you, Gundy. SEC, you've got to pick.
Here's the good news is that I can take the state of North Carolina with 2 picks at the very end, and I still have 1 pick left. I want pride in the state of Kentucky. I haven't gotten that for a while when it comes to the Wildcats. Yeah, I know that they've been decent in basketball. Mark Pope, I think, is going to turn the corner. But I want stability in football. I want stability in baseball. Guess who has that? Louisville. Louisville is one of the more underappreciated cities in America. It's one of the more underappreciated colleges in America. And the fact that I'm going to be able to now add in Miller Moss and Colin Lacey the way that Tom talked about them, now I'm getting more Regency and I'm getting more positivity out in the college football realm. So Louisville, welcome on in. You're actually going to be better representing the state of Kentucky than the Wildcats ahead. We like you a lot. We think that you're a good city. Just make sure you send us a couple of bats. That way we can go ahead and hit dingers against Tom when we go play against the Big Ten.
Dude, I'd opted for the bourbon, but I guess the bats are acceptable too.
No, Tom's gonna be drinking we're gonna send Tom a celebratory bourbon when he loses.
Please do. Yeah, that's fine.
That's a good way to lose. All right, Tom, you're on your last pick.
I think I have to carve up the state of North Carolina. Give me the Tar Heels. I think with Bill Belichick there right now.
I think you would go over because you're on 24. UNC.
Am I done? I'm out of picks.
No, you have 1 pick, but you can't take both of them because
you can't split up.
I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah. I can't take both of them. Gosh, that's a tough
one. I played strategically on that one.
Yeah, you did. That was smart. God. Give me Duke. And I will say this. I'll say it after we get done because I want to hear the rest of Cole's thoughts here. But give me Duke. At least it gives me a foothold there. Certainly gives you some basketball foothold, which is important. But Duke, at least if I have a couple more years under, he was just a defensive coordinator at Penn State. Why am I laughing on this? Thank you very much, Manny Diaz. If he sticks around for a little bit, they seem to be making progress. So give me Duke. At least I can combat whatever Cole's about to do. So there you go.
Come on, welcome on in, NC State and North Carolina. You get to round out our SEC. I'm very excited to welcome you on in. Here's the deal. Number 1, we're going to put an emphasis on basketball being at both of those schools. Last year, NC State went on the epic run towards the Final Four. We already know what UNC can do. Both have been very stable in baseball. And my favorite thing is that my favorite coach that is at the G5 level, John Summerall, was rumored to be hired at UNC before Bill Belichick got the job. So when Bill Belichick eventually decides to retire or go back to the NFL, now we bring him on into the SEC. He's an SEC-minded coach. He's going to bring stability to that state. He's going to bring stability to Chapel Hill. And I look at NC State, they always feel like that wild card of the ACC. There's a year that they can go 5-7. There's a year they can go 9-3. You add them on into the SEC, they bring in that same value as what an Arkansas does or what a Kentucky does or what maybe you're going to see from Vanderbilt moving forward. So I like what Dave Duran's building out there. I think Raleigh is a very underrated market. We know that Chapel Hill is a great college atmosphere. We get to combat that and bring in that Big Ten SEC rivalry whenever they play in the in the triangle out in the area. So Duke, best of luck in the Big Ten. NC State, North Carolina, welcome into the SEC. The conference just means more.
I like it. This was fun. Something different. So
academically, I just think the Big Ten is going to continue to run circles around the SEC.
Sure, but athletically, we're going to kick your ass to oblivion, so it's all good.
I will say this as honorable mentions before we let go. Boise State, I think there's something there that somebody's going to grab them and try and take advantage of that. Not that it's a huge TV market, but them in the Mountain West just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. And Utah. Salt Lake City, there's a lot more money that's been put into BYU. BYU is another team that you could have thrown out there, but yeah, I would have liked Utah or Boise State to have brought them into the fold potential.
Honorable mentions for me would have been Houston. Look, we got College Station, which is basically right outside of Houston. So the Cougars, enjoy yourself with Willie Fritz. And then Tulane. I think New Orleans is an untapped market that absolutely could bring in more to the state of Louisiana, retain as much talent in the state besides just LSU.
These are off the wall ones, but I thought about Texas Tech for some of the reasons you guys mentioned in Texas, the money that they're obviously ponying up in the portal. And then I wonder if UCF, I know that might be a strange one now, but I'm in Tampa. They're only about an hour and a half away from me. I just wonder if that Florida market, getting, the leftovers of what Florida State, Florida, and Miami take up are still really good compared to a lot of places. It's also the Orlando market. So I don't know. Would UCF eventually be one that people would reach for? I don't know. I don't necessarily love UCF, but I think it's an interesting one to think about in the future. So
I think this was fun. I like it.
Yeah, something different. Next year when we do this for 30 teams, we'll see what the strategy comes. When we do this for 32 teams,
I need a chalkboard or something.
Like
and a map.
Now that you know Cole's strategy, you'll be locked in. So.
Hey, thanks for watching The Power 2. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit subscribe and check out some of our other videos found here on the channel. Bye.